As always, my name is TA. Good to have you guys here. If you've been listening to this long enough, you're wondering what is the extra excitement coming from me today. I mean, the No Stand Zone podcast is a year old. A year old this week, February 5th to be exact. I turned on the mic on this here, and here we are, 1 year after, and I cannot begin to fathom how far we've come. It's just been really ridiculous. None of this is possible without every one of you tuning in and downloading every single week. And wait, let's even talk about that. Downloading and listening. Now, I started this just press and play on the microphone because I felt like things need to be said and it was not being covered in things that I felt needed to be said were not being said. And 1 year later, this is mind blowing. You know what? Do you know how many countries we're in now? We're in 19 countries around the world. What? 19 countries around the world over a year ago, right? 19 countries. And what? How many continents? 4 continents. This is mind blowing. We've finally touched the country in South America, talking about where? Venezuela. Shout out to whoever it is, wherever it is you are in Venezuela, downloading this podcast and getting the latest, the best analysis from Nigerian African music. I could not ask for more. Any more from you guys. You guys are making. You've literally made me. I can't begin to put it into words. Just made me feel, a lot more accomplished. That I'm not just speaking into into thin air. You guys actually enjoying the content coming from me every single week. 19 countries. Who could have thought about that? A year ago when I started this podcast, right? Over 1,000 downloads. Over 1,000 downloads, and 44 episodes later. I mean, it's just incredible. Thank you to every single one of you for making the past year. I mean, I could not even picture. I could not fathom. In fact, the thing is, if someone had asked me a year ago where I thought this podcast would be and what even my projections were, I couldn't have imagined this. We're touching every single continent. We're not even playing. Every single continent, from North America, South America, Africa, Europe, we're touching Asia as well. Yeah, 5, all the continents are being touched right now. Well, we still need to get someone from Australia to listen. But come on, I couldn't have asked for any more. Thank you to every single one of you. The No Stand Zone podcast, a year. Oh my, incredible. Thank you to every single one of you. I remember when I was thinking about starting this, and I was just like confused about where to go. And shout out to the folks at Acast for hosting us every single week, making sure the podcast get to every single DSP from wherever it is you're listening from. Either if you're on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple, all of this is able to get to you because of Acast. So I mean, shout out to the folks there. They never felt disappointed by the work that is being done. Incredible. And by the way, I'm not being paid. I just feel so grateful because I was so confused at the beginning of this, right? I honestly did not do a lot of research for months about how to host this podcast thing. I'm coming from the radio world, and so everything's kind of new-ish. Doing this by myself and uploading all of this every single week. The platform here has been so easy, and just click a button and it goes to all these places. But the biggest thank you is to every single one of you that tune in every single week. It's a different thing for what you think you have something that will be valuable to people. And it's a different thing for people to actually find value in your product, right? Because this is a product. The podcast is a product. And every single one of you keep buying every single week, basically, right? You keep buying and you keep showing support. And I think that's more than I can ask for. The past year, I've gotten a lot of DMs and messages from you guys talking about how incredible some of the episodes were. So, I mean, what else can what else can I ask for? All the guests that have joined me, well, basically two guests from Adeayo to Sheila Sisi, who've made this podcast a little better as well. Well, not a little better, a lot better, bringing their expertise in to every one of you in from 19 different countries. I cannot appreciate you enough. Over 1,000 all-time downloads and listening from different platforms, from Acast, Apple. I mean, before I keep on repeating myself, I couldn't have imagined that a year from now this community will be as strong as it is. You keep coming back, and I'm grateful that, well, I can keep coming here every single week. And talking about that, I wasn't here last week, but I still noticed that you guys were catching up on past episodes that you've missed. That's exactly how it's supposed to be, right? And the thing is, I felt very down last week, like really, really sick. I don't even know what it was. Maybe it's it's the weather. This time of year, it's just a little bit, a little cold. It wasn't the flu or anything. It's just that it was just that day I just felt so down, body just ached, having a lot of headaches, and it wasn't like I was feeling it from the beginning of the day. Towards the evening time, it just started, and it was so heavy. And there was no way I was going to come on the mic with that kind of energy that was low, basically. So thank you to every single one of you guys for holding it down and for catching up on past episodes that you have missed. And I see that the one that is still exciting to most people is the one of the 10 years, right? My predictions for the past 10 years. So shout out to you guys. It's still, one of the top ones that a lot of people were trying to catch up on because we didn't put out any episode last week. The 10 years, the beginning of the defining decade, right? That I put out there for Nigerian music and the industry, the Afrobeats industry. I noticed that you guys are catching up on that. So shout out to every single one of you. I see that you're also enjoying the last one from for 2 weeks ago, the Young, Famous, and African, and the one we talked about, the Afro alternative genre in Nigeria as well. So thanks to every single one of you. I'm looking at it right now. So shout out to everyone. Over 1,000 downloads. I mean, what else can I ask for at this point? A new year is ahead of us, and of course I'm gonna try to make it as exciting for every single one of us as possible. There is still so much to cover. Some of them there isn't enough time in every episode, and I keep pushing them forward and new things keep happening. But trust me, I will give you my opinion on the things that I feel are very most important. The things that are not, I would not necessarily just ignore it, but I will tell you the reason why I'm not talking about it. And today's episode, for sure, there are a few things or one or two things that I wouldn't be giving a lot of my energy to, because I think it's not as important to the advancement of the Nigerian music industry and to the music industry on the continent, that I wouldn't talk about it too much. I'm sure a couple of you already know about that, but we'll get to that later on in the show. But I needed to get all the thank yous and appreciation and all of that out of the way, because I didn't want to go ahead with the show without doing that, without for sure reaching out to you guys and saying thank you very much for your time every single week. I know it takes a lot of commitment, and it takes a lot of commitment, that for sure. I also listen to podcasts as well, and I usually feel like I take out my time to actually listen to them, because I support those shows as well, from music to to all the genres that I listen to. I'll take my time to be dedicated to it. So when I see folks actually downloading and listening, it tells me, I know, because I'm also on that part and on that level where there are other things that I'm dedicated to. So thank you very much for your time and for making this past year phenomenal and enjoyable, and making it really worth the time put in and the effort, right? In the past year, we've achieved a lot. I mean, we started with just being on Spotify and Acast.com, like going on the website. And by the way, guys, there's a website, right? It's acast.com/nostandpod, right? And it's available. You can listen to it if you're not on any of the DSPs, right? So we started with just Acast and and Spotify, basically the website and Spotify. And over time, we included Apple. Over time, we covered so many other, like, reached other DSPs as well. And then the most recent one was being on iHeartRadio. I think that is a game changer. The iHeart is probably one of the biggest platforms out there for podcasts and music and all of that. So to eventually be able to lock down that